if literally applied, it is a debt limit, because what it does is it says that Congress cannot borrow any more than a set dollar amount, which really doesn't make any sense at all as a matter of fiscal policy or economic policy. And it has never prevented Congress from borrowing money either. What it means is when you reach that limit, you have a couple of choices. You either have to raise the debt limit, or the government has to default on some of its obligations, which would be ridiculous. I mean, for the United States to not pay its debts, or not pay obligations that it owes to taxpayers, it would seriously damage the creditworthiness of the United States for no particular reason. So having a hard dollar cap really doesn't make any sense. One of my favorite examples is to look at debt after World War II and say, okay, the debt in dollar terms was higher at by 1974 than it had been at the end of World War II. I picked 1974 because by that time the debt as a percentage of the economy had shrunk considerably, from way over 100% to around 25% of GDP. So that's the important thing, is how much is the debt as a percentage of the economy. A hard dollar number is not as important. So it's the wrong metric, it's the wrong mechanism, and but it does, it's like your appendix or something that doesn't really have any real, your tonsils or something that, doesn't really do, not.
So we should just pluck it out, just get rid of it?
Yeah, it's going to cause you problems, or get rid of it. It's not controlling the debt. It is not a debt. It's quite obviously, it is not controlling the debt, and it never has.
So from
but it is, people can use it as a threat to default.
Yeah.
So, members of Congress can say, I'm not going to vote to raise the debt limit unless you do X, and try to hold, in effect, the nation's credit worthiness hostage. And I don't think that's a good idea.
So we have now already over $26 trillion in total national debt. What's the current status of the debt limit? Is it in effect right now? Will it be in effect?
Oh, well, that's a good question. It's been put to sleep. The debt limit, but like Frankenstein, it's going to come back to life. It's maybe or Dracula in the grave at the moment. So what Congress has done, rather than explicitly raise the debt limit the last couple of times, is just suspended the debt limit, and then picked a date when the debt limit would come back into effect. So in the interim, it allows the debt to rise to whatever level it would rise to. So in effect, there is no debt limit. And then magically next July, a year from approximately now, the debt limit will spring back to life and set at whatever limit the debt is at that time. You said it's 26 trillion now. It's going to be a lot higher.
Much higher then.
Yeah, I don't want to. Who knows? But let's say it's 28 or 29 trillion or something like that. That would automatically become the new debt limit, and then Congress would have to deal with that because it doesn't go up. I mean, it would just say, okay, so it comes back to life and it says, okay, freeze the debt at this level. Well, that obviously is totally impractical. So they're going to have to suspend it or raise it or do something again. Be best if they engage in some sort of negotiation in advance of that to change the debt limit mechanism. Either get rid of it altogether, or I would prefer to have some mechanism where it's tied to a relevant economic or fiscal policy goal, like debt to GDP or something like that.